The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is an amazing organization, powered by over 32,000 volunteers serving on more than 100 committees, each of which supports the overall mission of the show. However, contrary to popular belief, the mission of the show is not actually scholarships, it's agriculture. The show was organized for charitable, educational, and scientific purposes to encourage and promote the breeding, raising, and marketing of better livestock and farm products at public fairs, and to promote and maintain research and educational functions within the livestock industry. The great thing is that we've become so good and so creative at fulfilling our mission that we're able to generate excess revenue that can be used to fund scholarships, educational grants, and capital improvements that further our mission. To fully understand our agricultural mission, it's important to look back at the origins of the show. Throughout the 1920s, cattle production began to truly grow along the Gulf Coast region. Despite 2 million cattle in the region, Houston ranked 37th as a livestock market. A group of businessmen and cattle ranchers got together to determine ways to capitalize on the tremendous potential of the region, and they discovered that no successful livestock market or packing center had ever been developed without a successful livestock show. They looked at the International Exposition in Chicago, the National Western in Denver, the American Royal in Kansas City, the Cow Palace in San Francisco, and the Southwestern Expo in Fort Worth, and they decided to start their own livestock show. In January of 1931, 7 men met for lunch at the Texas State Hotel, and the Houston Fat Stock Show and Livestock Exposition, as it was first known, was born. The first show was held in 1932 at the Democratic Convention Hall, also known as Sam Houston Hall, which stood where the Hobby Center now stands. I always think it's fitting that the downtown parade starts from the Hobby Center because that's where the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo began. Sam Houston Hall was selected for its central location, and it was actually built for the 1928 Democratic National Convention. In true Houston can-do fashion, we offered to host the 1928 Democratic National Convention without a facility. And so Sam Houston Hall was built in 64 days. The first show was little more than a livestock show that focused primarily on Brahman cattle, a new breed that was developed for the Gulf Coast region. They offered free barbecue, drew 2,000 attendees, but lost $2,800. The organizers soon learned that a livestock show as a standalone wasn't a great revenue generator. Though the show struggled financially in those early years, they continued this model through 1936, after which fire damaged the Sam Houston Hall. This provided the organizers with a year off while Sam Houston Coliseum was being built. They utilized this year to explore new ideas for the show, and many of the things that we now know and recognize were initiated in 1938. The Sam Houston Coliseum, built on the same site, was completed in time for the 1938 show. With the additional year of planning, President J.W. Sartwell proclaimed that 1938 would be the show of shows. The first volunteer committees were added to sell tickets and exhibits. The first downtown parade was held. The carnival and the midway were added. The first souvenir program came into existence. The horse show was added, and the first organized rodeo was held. Though these additional events and attractions drew more attendance, organizers soon learned that a rodeo as a standalone event wasn't a tremendous revenue generator either. The day after the 1938 show, an article appeared in the Houston paper lamenting that despite the 9,000-seat arena and the ample exhibit space, that the Sam Houston Coliseum wasn't large enough for the Houston Fat Stock Show and Livestock Exposition. It was at this point that we created our unwanted tradition of outgrowing facilities as soon as they were completed. The 1942 show was a landmark in the history of our organization as it featured our first star entertainer, Gene Autry. Gene Autry was a huge star at the time and remains the only person to have all 5 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He has one for radio, for recording, for live theater, for television, and for motion picture. Not only did he sell out every performance, but he was also a rodeo stock contractor who gave the show a great deal on their rodeo stock. If it wasn't for Gene Autry, I probably wouldn't be standing here today. It's this very model of pairing a star entertainer with a rodeo performance that we still adhere to today. show organizers realized early on that to promote agriculture, they needed an audience. And so over the next few decades, they continued to add competitions and attractions to draw larger crowds. As the show grew, so did the number of volunteers and volunteer committees in support of these additional competitions and attractions. During this time, not only was the agricultural mission being met, but the show was consistently generating revenue, such that in 1957, the first scholarship was awarded in the amount of $2,000 to Ben Dickerson from Bel Air, Texas. In 1961, the name changed from the Houston Fat Stock Show and Livestock Exposition to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, in response of consumers becoming increasingly conscious of the amount of fat in their diets. 1966 was a significant year because that's the year we moved to our current location. The rodeo and the entertainment moved into the Astrodome, and the show paid to build the Astro Hall to host the livestock show. This facility was later expanded and donated to the citizens of Harris County. This building was extremely significant, not only because it met the show's needs, but it also placed Houston on the map as a convention destination. Later, the show constructed the Astro Arena, now known as NRG Arena, and also donated it to the citizens of Harris County. Moving from the 9,000-seat Sam Houston Coliseum to the 40,000-plus seat Astrodome provided the show with a tremendous growth opportunity. By drawing additional crowds, we also added additional volunteer committees to support our activities. Further growth came in 2003 when the show moved into NRG Stadium and NRG Center, allowing us to draw nearly 1.4 million people for rodeo and 2.5 million people overall. One of the strengths of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is our tremendous diversity, which allows us to draw people of all interests. If we can draw people to the show to see the livestock show, the horse show, to shop, to go to the carnival, to go into the stadium to see tremendous rodeo action, or a star entertainer, and teach them something about agriculture while they're here, we have accomplished our mission. In doing so, the show generates a significant amount of revenue that can be used to support education through competitions, scholarships, and educational grants. Never underestimate the value that each and every committee brings to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Whether you're a member of a sales committee, a working committee, or an outreach committee, you are contributing to the show fulfilling its agricultural mission as well as the education of thousands of Texas youth.